18th of April 2023. Yesterday we talked about the immediate benefits that we can enjoy by having mindfulness, sati. We talked about the sati as a goalkeeper, as a gatekeeper in our mind state, which protects our mind strength in order to not to admit, in order to not to injure the defilements and unwholesome mind and mentality, not just protecting but also it defends, it blocks, not giving chance when unwholesome mind and mentalities are about to enter, about to arise, and having protection and having the defense and the blocking, mind becomes safe, protected, and when mind is protected, safe, then freedom, free from kilesas. At the moment when mindfulness is present, deliverance is there. When deliverance is there, then the calmness is there. So in this way, whenever mindfulness is present, all these benefits that we can enjoy all at once. That is what we talked yesterday. So if we want to enjoy the peacefulness, calmness, then we have to develop mindfulness. If no mindfulness, it is impossible to develop the peacefulness and the calmness. The stronger mindfulness, the stronger protection, the stronger blocking and defense, and stronger safetyness, and the stronger safetyness, the greater freedom and the greater deliverance, and the greater deliverance or the freedom, the greater peacefulness, calmness. So if we want to enjoy again the stronger or the greater peacefulness and the calmness, we have to develop the strong mindfulness. These are the things we have been talking since yesterday. Yesterday we talked about these things, so today I mentioned I will talk more benefits that we can enjoy by having mindfulness. The mind becomes free from kilesas when deliverance is there. Meanwhile, we develop the rapture and the mental comfort or the happiness that we call in Pali piti and sukha. Piti means rapture, sukha means the mental comfort or happiness or the bliss. So it is mentioned in the text as viveka ja piti sukha. Viveka means seclusion. Seclusion means when the mind is free from kilesas, then mind becomes secluded. So as when freedom is there, deliverance is there, automatically seclusion is there. That is called viveka. Ja means generated. Piti sukha. Piti means rapture, sukha means mental comfort. So the rapture and the mental comfort or happiness generated by the seclusion of the mind. Means when seclusion is there, then piti sukha automatically arises. When free from kilesas, when deliverance is there, then automatically the piti, rapture develops, sukha. Generally we translate as happiness, happiness develops. So by development of the mindfulness, we can be free from kilesas, and when free from kilesas, we can develop the piti, rapture, and the sukha, mental happiness, along with the peacefulness and the calmness of the mind. And when mind is peace, calm, rapture is there, mental comfort, sukha is there, then again samadhi, the concentration, develops. So by development of the mindfulness, we can develop the concentration. So the concentration that we are developing here is called the khanika samadhi, means momentary concentration. And when momentary concentration generates or develops, then at that time it again dispels or destroys all the kilesas momentarily, that we call dadanga. So momentarily we dispel, we destroy the kilesas by development of the samadhi concentration. And when concentration develops, automatically knowledge, panya, develops. We don't need to do anything to develop the wisdom, knowledge. We just need to develop concentration. And to develop concentration, we just need to develop mindfulness. Automatically concentration, wisdom develops. Panya, which knows about the true nature. So here yogis are practicing meditation, observing presently arising object. So as the yogis develops the mindfulness concentration, automatically yogis come to know the true nature of body and mind. When we talk about the true nature, so the first thing yogis come to know is the individual nature, the personal nature of the physicality and the mentality. That is called in Pali Sabhava Lakhana. So our body is formation or constitution of the two things. That is physicality, in Pali we call Rupa, and the mentality that we call Nama in Pali. Our body is formation of only two things. In fact, this whole universe, this whole world is just the constitution of, just the formation of these two things. Physicality is there and mentality is there. Physicality is there, mentality. Just Nama and Rupa exists. So let's just talk about our body. So physicality is there and mentality, mind is there. So in physicality also, the main physicalities is formed by the four elements. There are mainly four elements are there. So those four elements are, number one is the earth element. Earth element is there. that we call in Pali Pathavi Dhatu. And the second is air element is there, that we call in Pali Vayu Dhatu. And the third is Tejo Dhatu, the element of temperature. Fourth is the Apo Dhatu, the water element. So our body is mainly formed by these four physical elements. These four elements, they contain their own nature. Like Pathavi Dhatu has its own nature, and they are, Pathavi Dhatu has nature of hardness, softness, roughness. These natures are the individual nature of the Pathavi Dhatu or earth element. Why we call individual means only belongs to earth element. Do not belongs to other elements, do not belongs to other physicality, only belongs to earth element. Other physicalities do not have these natures. So personal nature of the earth element is hardness, softness, roughness. Second element is air element. Air element also has its own nature, that is movement, tension, stiffness. These are the individual nature of the air element, which do not belongs to other physicalities or other elements. That is why call individual nature or the individual characteristics. So the third one, the element of temperature. Generally we say fire element, but it is not a good translation, because if we say fire, then there will be only idea of heat. But when we say temperature element, then we can say coolness, warmness, and heat. So these are also the individual nature or the characteristics of the temperature element. The fourth element is water element, and it also has its own nature, that is cohesion and flowing. So cohesion and the flowing is the individual nature which does not belong to other elements or other physicalities. So in this way, all the four elements have their own individual natures which does not belong to other physicalities or the other elements. That is why called as Sabhava Lakhana, or individual nature or individual characteristics. So this is what yogis come to know at first. When we observe rising and falling, yogis knows the tension, the tightness, stiffness or warmness, coolness. What yogi is knowing is individual nature of the physicalities. So these four elements are all over the body, from the top of the head to the tip of the toes. All over the body, these four elements are there. Four elements exist. So wherever we observe, wherever we focus, we can see these natures all over the body. Similarly, mind, when we talk about nama, mentality, mind must be categorized in two parts. One is just mind, consciousness, and the mental factors. So there are 52 mental factors. Mind is one thing, consciousness is one thing, and mental factors are different things. But mind and mental factors, they arise together. They always arise together. Mind also has its individual nature, that is, taking the object or simply knowing about the object. That is the individual nature or the personal nature of the mind. So when we talk about the mental factors, as I just mentioned, 52 mental factors are there. So if we take some example like Vedana in Pali, that is one mental factor which has individual nature of feeling. Whenever we are feeling something, that is what? Feeling by the Vedana. In Pali we call Vedana, the individual nature of the Vedana. Similarly, Lobha, that we call greed. Greed had nature of attaching or gluing on object. This is only belongs to Lobha, it does not belongs to dosa, anger. Anger does not have the nature of attaching, gluing. Again, dosa, anger has the nature of aversion. So it is also belongs to only dosa, does not belongs to Lobha. So each mental factors have individual natures. In this way, physicality, rupa, also has its individual nature, individual characteristic, and nama, mentality, also have its individual nature and individual characteristics. And that is what yogis comes to know at first. So while observing rising and falling, now many of the yogis are knowing, oh tension, oh hardness, oh softness, oh coolness, warmness. That is what we are knowing about the individual natures of the physicality. So when yogis knows the hardness is individual nature of earth element. So knowing about the earth element. If knowing softness, then it is also knowing the earth element. If knowing coolness, warmness, heat, then knowing about the element of temperature. If tension, if movements, knowing the nature, individual nature of air element. So that is why I encourage yogis every day in interview when observing rising and falling. Yogis must try to know about the different kind of sensations involving in rising and falling, different kinds of sensation involving in movements of the legs, different kinds of sensation involving in the daily activities. Similarly, yogis know about the mind also. When anger is present, yogis know, oh, anger. When greed is there, knows as greed. When proud is there, oh, this is proud. Similarly, when envy is there, know as envy, and jealous as jealous. So distinctly or discriminately, yogis know about the mind also. This is what we call yatha bhuta jnana. Yatha bhuta jnana. Jnana means knowledge. The knowledge which knows the things as they really exist. That is called yatha bhuta jnana. Knowing the physicalities and the mentalities as they really exist. So yogis are developing that knowledge, that jnana, each and every moment. That means yogis are knowing not the things which does not exist, not knowing the imaginary or the conceptual things. Yogis are knowing which really exists in our body, which really exists in our universe. So the physicality, mentality which really exists is knowing by the yogis. When observing rising and falling or physical object, before knowing the individual nature, at times yogi may know the two things. The first thing is the form or the appearance of the physicality that we call Santhana Panyati in Pali. Means sometimes when we observe rising, falling, we may feel rising as a ball. Oh, looks like ball. Or falling, or sometimes the abdomen looks like the deflated object or a hollow object. So in this way, at times we may see form also. Another example is when pain arises, at times we may see as a stone, like in the abdomen also sometimes we may see like a harness is like a stone, like a object. We may see the form. The form is called appearance. So that is also what we may realize before we come to know the individual nature. The second we may know is the manner of the physicality that we call the akara panyati. We can translate as manner also, as position also. Or simply the style, when rising and falling take place, different style is there. We relate with our daily life. Like sometimes rising and falling is like rolling. Actually it is just the movement. Movement is there. Movement is the individual nature of the air. It is moving, but sometimes look like it is rolling. So we say, oh, in rolling manner, rising is taking place. Or sometimes it is like a curve, sea manner, in rising is taking place. Or sometimes like a fast, slow. Many manners we describe during the interview also. So this is the second thing we can realize when we observe the physical object. So that is why when at interview we talk many about the rising and falling. We talk different sensation, we talk different manners of the rising and falling, and at times about the form. Not only in rising and falling, but in movements of the leg also. At times we see the form, appearance of the leg. At times the manner, the style of the leg, how leg is moving. And then we realize different natures. Warmness is there, coolness is there, tension, tightness. Similarly, heaviness, lightness is there. So different natures are there. If we are knowing different natures, that we are knowing the individual natures of physicality. This individual nature, yogis must know. Only then yogis will know the second nature. To know the second nature, or to know the second characteristics, yogis must know the first one. The first one is, we are talking just individual characteristics of physicality and the mentality. So the second nature, second characteristic is appearing, staying for a while and disappearing, arising continuing for disappearing, continuing towards disappearance and disappearance, dissolving. So hardness also arises, stays for a while, then disappears. Softness also arises, stays for a while and disappears. So beginning is there, middle is there, and end is there. So every individual nature has these three conditions. So arising, staying for a while and disappearing. Arising, staying for a while and disappearing. That we call the conditional characteristic, in Pali, Sankhata Lakhana. So that is what yogis come to know as a second characteristics. At the beginning, yogis knows, oh, hardness is there, that's all. Then as the concentration deepens, then yogis knows, oh, hardness arising, staying for a while and disappearing. Softness also, or it arising, staying for a while and disappearing. Similarly, the movements, the tension, the stiffness, tightness, warmness, coolness, all the natures, yogis will see arising, staying for a while and disappearing. Not only physical object but mental object also, like anger arising, staying for a while, disappearing. Thinking arising, staying for a while, disappearing. Planning arising, staying for a while, disappearing. So in this way all the mental objects also yogis come to know, beginning, middle and the end. So that's why first we must know the individual nature. First we must know hardness as hardness, then only it is possible to see the arising of hardness, then staying for a while, and then disappearance. If hardness if we have yet to see the hardness, then it is impossible to see the appearance, staying for a while and the disappearance. Again, when yogis keep practicing and concentration deepens, now another nature, another characteristics, yogis will realize, the third characteristic, the third nature. That is, now yogis will not see the middle one. The middle part is no more to see. Means the beginning and the end only yogis will see. Means we'll just see, oh, hardness arising, just disappearing, not staying for a while. No more seeing the staying for a while. Similarly, softness just arising and vanishing immediately. Similarly, tension, tightness, warmness, coolness, even pain, arising, immediately vanishing. So yogis come to see the appearance and the disappearance. No more to see the middle part. Not only physical objects but mental objects also just appearing and disappearing. Thinking just appears and immediately vanishes. Planning appears, disappears. Anger appears, disappears. Greed, proud, conceit, envy, jealous, whatever. Yogis will realize the appearance and the disappearance of the all physicalities and the mentalities. At the very first stage of seeing appearance and the disappearance, it may not be too fast. But as the concentration deepens more, as the knowledge deepens more, then the appearance and the disappearance become faster and faster. Finally, it becomes super fast, very fast, rapid fast manner. All the phenomena appears and disappears, appears and disappears. Again, at the beginning, may see the only one object appearing and disappearing. But again, when concentration deepens, knowledge becomes mature. Many objects within a second, seeing, appearing and disappearing. Many objects, more than 10, more than 15, more than 20, more than 25. In this way, within a second, just imagine, within a second, I am not talking about the 1 minute. Within a second, yogis will see many objects in super fast manner appearing and disappearing. So at that time, yogis develop the knowledge into impermanence. Oh, everything is impermanent in this world. Nothing is permanent. All the things, all the existence are impermanent. So the knowledge into impermanence automatically develops. And appearance and the disappearance, appearing and the disappearing is like borning and dying. Everything's born and immediately die. So dying. So then yogis realize everything as suffering. So all the physicalities, the yogis will realize as suffering. So we don't need to do anything. As soon as yogis realize the insight, or yogis develop the insight into impermanence, then the knowledge into suffering also develops. And this appearance and disappearance is also happening by itself. All the physicalities or the mentalities are arising with cause and effect by their own nature. So there is no one controlling, nobody can control it. So selflessness, the knowledge into selflessness, the knowledge into egolessness will also develop at the right time. So impermanence, suffering and selflessness, that we call in Pali anicca, dukkha and anatta. This anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanence, suffering and non-self is related or common with all the physicalities and the mentalities. The physicalities are mentalities existing in this universe. Whatever physicality, whatever mentality, all are impermanence, or are suffering, all are non-self. So that is what called universal nature, universal characteristic. So this is the third characteristic or the third nature yogis realize by themselves. It is called in Pali samanya lakhana. So the individual natures that we have just talked, the hardness, softness, coolness, warmness, they all are impermanent. They all are suffering. They all are selfless. Similarly, mind mentalities, whether it is anger, whether it is greed, whether it is envy, whether it is feeling, whatever, they are also impermanent, suffering and non-self. That is what yogis come to know as a third nature or the third characteristic. So to develop the knowledge into the impermanence, suffering and the non-self. First we have to know the second characteristics, conditional characteristic. We have to first know or to see the appearance, staying for a while, and the disappearance. And again to see the appearance, disappearance, staying for a while and disappearance, first we must see, we must discover the individual natures, hardness, softness, coolness, warmness, similarly anger, greed, envy, etc. First we have to see the individual natures, then only it is possible to discover the second nature, and when only second nature we discover, then after only the third nature or the characteristic we can discover. So without discovering the first nature, it is impossible to develop the knowledge into impermanence, suffering and non-self. So that is why I am emphasizing every day for yogis in interview. Try to see the natures when observing rising and falling, when the observing movements of the leg, when doing daily activities like sitting down, standing up, stretching, bending the hands, whatever you do. Yogis who have already seen these natures, actually they are not far from to see the second nature and then after third nature. For the yogis who haven't seen the individual nature, they should try harder. If you too want to see the individual nature, conditional nature and common nature, you should also try. That is why yesterday I mentioned now it is time to do more slowly. Now it is time to note intention in order to develop more mindfulness, in order to develop more concentration. So try your best. Try to develop more mindfulness, more concentration, so that you can see the individual nature, the conditional nature and the common nature, common characteristics. And by knowing these natures, may you be able to develop the wisdom. In fact, when you come to know the common nature, common characteristic, that is already said to be knowledge have been developed. So may you able to develop knowledge.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.